This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45 p.m.) This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is a news edit read by J. Yogaraj. Sri Lanka will operate a total of 77 COVID-19 vaccination centers to administer the second dose of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from today. The inter-provincial travel restrictions are fully relaxed from tomorrow. All employees from government and private sectors are expected to report to work as usual from tomorrow. Sri Lankan Airlines resumes flights to Moscow after a 6-year break. Sri Lanka reports 67 more COVID-19 deaths. And it also reports 1,792 more COVID-19 recoveries. In news overseas, Turkey, foreign tourists evacuated as wildfire threaten resorts. In sports, Tokyo Olympics, Lehman Marcel Jacobs claims shock 100-meter gold. And those are the headlines. And now we move on to the stories in detail. Sri Lanka will operate a total of 77 COVID-19 vaccination centers to administer the second dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from today to 6th of August. For the first time, the vaccination center at the Viharamadevi Park will administer vaccines 24/7. Therefore, the people who are expected to obtain the second dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine can do so by visiting any of the 77 vaccination centers at their convenience, as all centers will be walk-in vaccination centers. However, 3 vaccination centers in Colombo by the Colombo Municipal Council and Sri Lanka Air Force will operate under an appointment-based system. The public is requested to carry their NIC or passport and vaccination card with them to any of these vaccination centers to obtain the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Meanwhile, the second dose of the AstraZeneca was also administered at BMICH and Army Hospital today. The people from various places in Colombo were waiting in long queues to receive the second dose. It was also observed that there is an increased enthusiasm and interest on the part of the general public in obtaining the second dose of AstraZeneca. The inter-provincial travel restrictions are fully relaxed from tomorrow. The restrictions were imposed due to COVID pandemic situation. However, with the present expedited vaccination drive, the government has decided to relax the restrictions fully effective from tomorrow. It was observed that the economy of the country was severely affected due to the COVID pandemic situation. Taking this point into consideration, the government headed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has decided to relax the restrictions for the benefit of the general public. However, the general public is advised to follow the health regulations during each and every activity. Meanwhile, State Minister Dilum Amningam says Sri Lanka Transport Board and Sri Lanka Railways have made necessary arrangements to deploy the buses and trains for the benefit of the employees travelling from long distances. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Kingsley Ranawaka, says the buses will operate as usual from tomorrow. General Manager of Sri Lanka Railways, Dhammika Jayasundara, says 11 trains will be deployed to be operated on the main lines from tomorrow, out of which 2 trains will travel from Kandy to Colombo. 20 trains will be deployed for coastal line journeys. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
With the situation returning to normal, the Health Ministry requests the general public to follow the health guidelines strictly. The people should pay attention on this matter. Professor Atula Sumatipala says, although the best solution to overcome this pandemic to receive 2 doses of vaccines, the health guidelines should not be neglected under any circumstances. The vaccination will prevent COVID deaths substantially, the professor added. National carrier Sri Lankan Airlines has resumed flights to the Russian capital Moscow after a 6-year break where it will operate a weekly scheduled flight between Bandar Naik International Airport and Moscow's airport. Accordingly, a Sri Lankan flight UL534 carrying tourists from Russia arrived in BIA this morning. The resumption of the services connecting Colombo and Moscow is a link that will not only facilitate travel but will be the impetus for building closer bilateral business connections between the two countries. The Director General of the Health Services has confirmed 67 more COVID-19 related deaths that have occurred yesterday, the 31st of July. The new development has pushed the official death toll due to the virus in Sri Lanka to 4,508. According to the data released by the Department of Government Information, the new victims confirmed today include 31 females and 36 males. One of them is aged below 30 years, 10 victims are between 30 to 59 years, and the remaining 56 are aged 60 and above. The Ministry of Health says another 1,792 patients who were being treated for COVID-19 have been discharged after completing their recovery today. This increases the country's coronavirus recoveries to 278,910. Sri Lanka has thus far confirmed a total of 308,839 positive cases for COVID-19, while 25,488 patients infected with the virus are currently under medical care. The death toll due to the virus currently stands at 4,508. The development work of the proposed water supply system in Kundasale, Kandy has commenced. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board has made the necessary arrangement for this purpose. A sum of 255 million rupees has been set aside for this project. The main objective of this project is to provide water facilities to the local residents of the area. The project will be carried out under short-term and long-term phases. And that's local news.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112-357-357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The inter-provincial travel restrictions are fully relaxed from tomorrow. The restrictions were imposed due to COVID pandemic situation. However, with the present expedited vaccination drive, the government has decided to relax the restrictions fully effective from tomorrow. And that was the top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, the police has provided a telephone number for the general public to report information regarding any activities related to child labour in Colombo city or suburbs. Police spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana says a special operation was initiated yesterday in the Colombo city and suburb areas in Western Province to nab offenders. He said that if the public have any information in respect of child labour, they are requested to provide such information to the Colombo Emergency Centre via its telephone number 0112 433 333. I repeat, 0112 433 333. And moving on to world news, the headlines. Turkey, foreign tourists evacuated as wildfires threaten resorts. Anti-eviction lawmaker camps overnight on US Capitol steps. Myanmar, state of emergency extended with coup leader SPM. And those are the headlines of the world news. Moving on to the stories in detail, tourists have been evacuated from beaches in southwestern Turkey, where raging wildfires are now threatening hotels and homes. Turkish Coast Guard vessels, assisted by private boats and yachts, were deployed to bring holidaymakers to safety, according to local media. In the city of Bodrum, 3 5-star hotels were reportedly evacuated. Congresswoman Cori Bush has spent a night on the steps of the U.S. Capitol to protest against the end of COVID-related moratorium on evictions. The House Democrat said shortly before the freeze expired at midnight Saturday that 7 million people would be at risk for evictions over unpaid rent. The freeze was imposed 11 months ago in part to halt the spread of the infections through crowding in shelters. The general who took power in a coup in Myanmar in February has named himself Prime Minister and said emergency rule may now extend up to August 2023. In an hour-long speech, Min Aung Yang pledged to hold a free and fair multi-party election, but also called the elected party he removed terrorists. Hundreds have died in continuing protests against the military coup. And that was world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
94 new schools will be established under 1,000 National School Project in Galle District. It should be noted that there were 430 schools in Galle District in year 2019, out of which 28 are identified as national schools. Meanwhile, 186,824 students are studying in schools in Galle District. The main objective of 1,000 National School Project is to provide better education facility and environment to these students. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
And in sports, Italy's Lehman Marcel Jacobs claimed a shock gold in Olympic 100-meter final after Great Britain's Zarnell Hughes was disqualified for a false start. Jacobs, who only switched away from long jump in 2018, streaked clear to win in 9.80 seconds or 0.04 clear of American Fred Curley. Canada's Andre de Grasse won a second successive Olympic bronze in third. A world champion Christian Coleman and Trayvon Brommel, the world's fastest in 2021, were both absent from the final. And that was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Lanka Credit and Business Finance Limited, LCB Finance, announced plans for a public listing in the Colombo Stock Exchange through the initial public offering. LCB Finance, which initially began as a grassroots-level financing institution, witnessed exponential growth and expansion across the country over the years. And that was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, Ministry of Tourism, with the technical and financial assistance of UNDP in Sri Lanka, has initiated the National Sustainable Destination Certification Scheme to transform 9 chosen destinations in 9 provinces with the best sustainable practices as the second phase of the National Sustainable Tourism Initiative. Sustainability is a key driver to preserve and conserve the island's outstanding natural and cultural heritage. And that was economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by Ikra Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the Sabrakammu and Western provinces and in Nuwara and Kandy, Kuala and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Uva province and in Nampara and Batticaloa districts during the evening or night. Fairly strong winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in Hambantota district. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the International Weather Forecast website AccuWeather.com predicts that Colombo weather would be generally bright and during the day, but there'll be a cloudy weather in the afternoon. Today's daytime temperature would be around 28 Celsius. And there'll be light showers in many places in Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 27 Celsius, and there'll be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be around 28 degrees centigrade at the time of this news broadcast. The Air Quality Index, AQI, is 15, which show fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Before we wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. Sri Lanka will operate a total of 77 COVID-19 vaccination centers to administer the second dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from today. The inter-provincial travel restriction is fully relaxed from tomorrow. All employees from government and private sectors are expected to report to work as usual from tomorrow. Sri Lankan Airlines resumes flights to Moscow after 6-year break. Sri Lanka reports 67 more COVID-19 deaths, and it also reports 1,792 more COVID-19 recoveries. And with that, we conclude this evening news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.